Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We are live in downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is your spot. Day one of the Masters, which we're going to get into a lot over the next 3 hours. We have a busy card tonight in the NBA, small card in the NHL, and a massive one in the National Hockey League. So we're going to get into all of that. Greg Wyshynski covers the NHL. He's going to join the program coming up in 30 minutes. Tony Rizzo on the program in 90 minutes. A little NFL draft. What did the Browns do at number 6?
Guys.
And Steve Wiss, best bets in soccer, coming up back end of today's show. Also, well, first of all, thanks for checking in on YouTube TV today, watching the show. For those of you listening on Sirius XM channel 158, we were sent a Taste of the Masters box from Clemson Chris, and it was delivered today, beautifully, right on time. Backstory to that: it is very difficult for us to get deliveries here. Stuff gets lost 95% of the time. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I don't know what's in here. I have an idea, but I don't know exactly what comes fully loaded with this box. We just got it, and I think we should have probably opened it up live on the air, Paulie. How are you feeling, by the way?
Good.
You must have been, because you have, and you gave out in pocket yesterday, Fat Pat Reed.
Love him.
At 42-1. You must have been smiling from ear to ear today
the Eagle,
with his start.
Dallas Mafia loved him. Human's favorite golfer. But Tia was off to a great start. And Rory's been the story. And he was phenomenal today. There were a couple guys who laid an egg. But going back, not only this, but as we talked about on the show and got several emails, tweets, whatever, people go crazy for the merchandise.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just go in and then you sell the thing for like 3 times the value what it is in the gift store. And the line's out the door for all 4 days, what it is for the merchandise. So people go crazy for this stuff.
Just having the conversation before the show, somebody asked me, how much money would you have to take on you? I don't even know if it's cash. It's probably not. But how much would you prepare to spend at the gift shop? And I'm like, well, seeing as how it might be the only time you ever go to the Masters.
You ship it right to your house.
And you're going to be buying for probably several other people. I just threw out probably minimum 500, and they both said, yeah, that's light. Mm-hmm. You got to be ready to spend more than that. I heard $17 million in sales over the next 4 days at the gift shop.
Oh, wow.
So
that's great.
And here's a sports betting lesson for me today, a mistake that I made because one of my biggest bets was on Jon Rahm at 18-1 when he was cleaning up on the Live Tour. I'm like, that number is probably going to be long gone come Masters week. Well, he turned into like 10-1 or below that, second shot on the board. And I actually hated it because he was far too popular. It doesn't matter. I listened to more podcasts last night. I read everybody was super high on Rahm. Like, it's his week. It's his tournament. He's going to win.
Yeah.
So somebody reached out to me today who does top-down betting and said, my God, there's a matchup right now with Scheffler against Rahm. And it's at maybe the most respected or the biggest offshore book in the entire world. They moved Scheffler all the way up to minus 165 in that territory. I'm like, holy hell, that's a big price. And head-to-head against somebody that's so popular. I could have used a bonus bet on Scheffler, which would have been a great EV bet at minus 122 to win it in a matchup. But I didn't do it because I didn't want to go against my Rahm future. Well, it took 10 minutes for him to be 4 strokes back of Scheffler. Now he's 7 strokes behind.
Yep, 4 over.
Every bet's a new bet.
Implosion.
As you said, like on New Year's Day, one of your resolutions. Every bet's a new bet. So that's a mistake. That's just play the math game. That was a good bet based on the numbers, and I didn't. And now I'm obviously going to regret this one the way it looks.
Yes. It could have been worse. He could have been Pottinger, what he did today.
Wow.
I mean, this guy, he was like 11 over on 11. Double, bogey, double, bogey, double. And he's 12 over.
Don't you feel bad for a guy like that?
I know. What a way to start. It reminds me, may rest in peace, I was on the air live one year with Dave Koken. And I think Ernie Els put up like an 11 right away, or a 10 on hole 1 or 2, whatever. He just had the yips of trying to punt on one, and the guy was like 8 shots back, 2 holes in. And it's just like, okay, I mean, this is once a year.
Yep.
And 2 holes in, you have no chance, and you're not even going to make the cut. So sometimes that does happen, but it's a good leaderboard. There are big names. A lot of guys struggled today. There's a lot of surprises, and we'll see what's going to happen here. Maybe these guys can really put up a good score. That 5 under's leading already. You know, and Rahm wasn't the only one who crapped the bed.
Oh, no.
You know, Harmon, terrible. Weir, terrible.
DeChambeau, awful.
Can't lay 5 over. McNeely, no shot. DeChambeau, 4 over. Bubba Watson. Minwoo Lee. Hovland again. 3 over for Hovland. I know. And Fitzpatrick, my guy. Every year he's made the cut. He's 2 over.
Oh, he was totally, roller coaster ride today.
Yeah.
For Matty Fitz.
2 over is tied for 50th. Yep. Are you surprised? Go ahead.
I was going to say, you know what's funny is that the 2 guys right now tied for first. Did you hear anybody make a case for Sam Burns?
No.
I didn't.
No.
And also, nobody was betting Rory. He drifted out to like the 5th guy on the board.
I didn't hear one person say JT either.
No.
And he had a good round. And he's still out there. Morikawa, what do you think? Did you expect worse?
So
he's done.
This was after the show yesterday. From shopping around, I noticed that there was one book still hanging prices on Morikawa, and it did not. All the reports were not going well. Right, the farthest he hit a ball yesterday was 280 yards. It wasn't. He only took like 45 range balls, and that was it. And the reports were like, yeah, it's not looking so great. So I bet him at plus 210 to miss the cut. He's 2 over for the day. And I also found Justin Thomas plus 114 against him in a matchup, and I laid 47 cents with Hideki Matsuyama in a matchup as well. I tried to fade Morikawa as often as I possibly could because most books took him off the board. It came to my attention last night as I was shopping around. I'm like, he's available nowhere to bet against. So he actually, all things considered, he wasn't pathetic today.
No.
I was hoping for like 6 over and get him out, but... now he's going to be lingering around the cut line possibly tomorrow, the way it appears.
But Tia got off to a good start,
he
too.
Did. Yep.
And then he fell apart.
So did Aaron Rye. And did he finish?
He's 1 under.
Yeah, he was 3 under at one point.
Yeah.
And by the way, look at this now. Justin Rose just hanging around 3 under through 9.
If he does this again, man. First round leader. I know.
What do you say? Should we open this up?
Good, yeah. I want to hear from humans quickly, too, while we do this. This was humans yesterday, and he was strong on this, but fade Morikawa.
Dial that up in a second.
All right, go ahead. Okay, go ahead, humans.
Do not bet him. Fade him in matchups. He's a lost cause this week. Look, you listen to that interview, too, and you think about hockey players who are out there playing with broken ribs and all. And this guy's a golfer. He's like, just some other parts of the body don't feel right. Toughen up. Jesus. Get out there and play golf this week. It's a major. And, look, I've had back issues, too, and you go out and play golf and you're sore. But you can fight through it. There are ways I can't believe I bet on this guy. And I never want to bet on him again.
That's pretty
That's
strong.
Good, I know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he listened to his rant because he went out there and gutted through it. And he's 2 over, as you said. So it's not free money that he could still be in the mix and make the cut. So good rant from humans and a little disappointment too, but he went out there and gutted it out and acted like a hockey player.
Is there anybody that you regret not betting on or that you would consider taking right now? I'm looking at X. I don't have a bet on him.
Yeah, he's been solid How about Boom Boom?
Wow, this is completely unsustainable.
I'm with you, too. Why would someone bet him to win?
Well,
but make the cut, I see. Make the cut, yes. But the people who bet him to win, I mean, you said you give up 5,000 to 1.
Nobody took me up on that.
I know.
And,
he's 2 under through 13.
Right.
Boom Boom's top 10.
Wasn't he 2 under through like 3 or 4 holes? Now, I will point out, we got some tweets on this yesterday. When Mike Palm gave that bit of information, people were like, okay, let me take a shot on him to make the cut. They found almost 5-1 on him to make the cut.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe can he somehow just hover and like linger again like some of these guys that we talked about tomorrow and possibly get in there and play on Saturday and Sunday? Be a great story to have that happen. But right now, Xander is 13-1. His pedigree here, I mean, he does it every single year. And that's one that I forgot to bet. I don't know, I just got too caught up, and I forgot to add a guy like that to finish top 10, top 20 last night. And that, I think, is probably going to be a mistake because he's like almost Mr. Automatic here.
Yeah. A lot of people would like it. I'm worried about the Scotty or Rory Invitational here.
Well, true.
That it could just be a runaway in what they're doing. So what's in this?
So it appears as if it's wrapped quite a bit.
Oh, a lot of chips. Okay, that whole row is chips.
Okay, and I think we have the entire menu here, too, that they sent over. But I believe there's going to be a lot of, I got to be honest too, moon pies, potato chips, and pimento cheese sandwiches, evidently.
Oh, my God.
And so,
Look at we got mugs, glasses.
is there any alcohol in there?
This is annoying.
I guess we were encouraged to drink any alcohol on the air today, which would be a fun one. Joking, of course. But yeah,
Pimento cheese.
There's a bunch of pimento cheese.
Yes,
I don't think
yes.
I've ever had a pimento cheese sandwich in my entire life.
I thought you had one last year at Stadium Swim.
I think I refused to have it.
Oh, because it was hot.
Yeah, it was sitting there. It's like if you have a sandwich in
was
your
hot.
car in the desert and you
Yeah,
have
you're
mayonnaise on it, and you 3 hours later remembered you probably don't want to eat it.
Mayonnaise.
But so there's a lot in here, and people order this every single year and get it delivered to their house, and they sit back, they watch the tournament, and they
moon
sit there
pie.
and they eat whatever they had delivered.
Oh, this is great. Thanks a lot, Chris. Top notch, baby. That's awesome.
Would you? You're not a big event
job.
guy in person. Would you ever
No.
go to the Masters if you had the chance?
No, I would go to Augusta, but not the Masters. It's just it's Woodstock out there. Everyone running around and crazy.
Here's what a buddy of mine told me. Ben from Nova Scotia, he and his buddies went 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They said they were going to go for the whole week, but they actually got it through like Wednesday. So they showed up the Sunday before. They went to all the practice stuff. They had a chance to walk the entire grounds and all 18 holes.
All right.
They watched the par 3, and then they flew back on Wednesday to watch the entire tournament begin on Thursday. He said he would never. It was the best experience of his life. He
Wow.
was so glad to get out of there and then experience everything on TV after they just watched it in person.
Okay.
Yeah, so NFL draft 2 weeks from tonight. We'll tell you the latest mock draft from an NFL insider based solely on what he's hearing coming up next.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Paulie whacked down a moon pie during the break. Sent to us here this taste of the Masters package. Thanks again to Clemson. Chris, how was it?
Good. Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, and we're going to get a loaf of white bread delivered so we can whack down the pimento cheese as well. Plenty of ice. This is going to last for the whole
Sure.
show, no doubt.
Sure.
All right, so Peter Schrager, now at ESPN, put out his latest mock draft, and he explained at the very beginning of the draft that he was in Phoenix at the annual league meeting last week. He spent a lot of time talking to sources and trying to get the latest intel on what teams might do with their first-round picks. And he wrote, "What follows is my first-round draft for the 2026 class. These 32 projections are based on what I'm hearing rather than what I would personally do at each slot. Nothing is set in stone quite yet, which is why I'm going to do a second mock draft in 2 weeks. But for now, this is my best guess as to how things could play out. Mendoza, naturally number 1. Number 2, David Bailey from Texas Tech to the Jets. And I looked at a lot of other mock drafts last night.
Yeah.
Not a ton of other people had Bailey going second. It was Reese out of Ohio State, which has been the most common pick for a long time and why he has been minus money for a while.
At DraftKings, he's the favorite. Oh, Bailey had moved. Because I was going to say yesterday, Reese was the favorite to go second and third.
Was he really?
Yes.
Yeah. So I shopped around last night. I took a little plus 185 on Bailey to go second overall to the Jets, and I took a little more plus 135 or 140 today because numbers have been moving for a while. In fact, thanks to Tyler, viewer, who sent me an email, ftm@vsin.com. He's been tracking this now, and he has several more outs than we do here in Nevada to bet this. He has David Bailey at almost plus 525 in pocket to go second overall.
Okay.
And he thinks
Great.
that this is going to happen. And as Schrager wrote, this is likely either going to be Bailey or Reese. That seems like obviously it's going to happen, I would think. And that the Jets were 31st in sacks last year. They only had 26. And he thinks Bailey is the guy for the Jets. And so maybe he turns into the favorite here over the next week, or maybe this is just incorrect info and Reese is going to be the guy all along. But as long as Bailey was still plus money, I had to take some of that last night.
Will Love go fourth? He's the favorite.
He has him going Love to the Titans, yeah.
Wow.
Which is still plus money, by the way.
Yeah. And it goes back to how early can you take a running back and feel good about it? And in today's NFL, and just plug and play. Plus 150 at DK.
He also had the offensive lineman, Spencer Fano, going to the Browns at number 6 overall. We'll talk to Tony Rizzo coming up in about an hour and 15 minutes. I played a little Fano to go 5th and to go 6th. He had a great breakdown on why, this is Schrager now, talking about why Fano would make the most sense out of the offensive linemen who are going to be there on the board at number 6. He has Jordan Tyson of the Chiefs at number 9. I actually hope that's Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon, to the Chiefs, because I bet that. But Tyson would be the first wide receiver taken, which would be a nice number right now. In fact, he also has Omar Cooper going 16th to the Jets, Denzel Boston going 23rd to the Eagles, and 3 other wide receivers going in the first round. In fact, he did slot 6 at that position in the first round. That's as high as plus 180 right now. And again, Paulie, this is based on what Peter Schrager wrote in his mock draft, what he's hearing.
Mm-hmm.
At number 32, the defending champs now, Seattle Seahawks, no more Kenneth Walker, the MVP of that game, is off to Kansas City. He put in Jadarian Price, running back Notre Dame. Price is 7-1 at least to be a first-round pick, and 2 running backs in the first round pays 5-1.
Oh.
At least it did last night at Caesars.
Okay. Excellent.
But again, of the mocks I looked at last night, not a lot of people had Price or another running back going in that first round.
Okay. Some other observations. Downs has dropped.
Mm-hmm.
He's over 9.5 minus 330. And total quarterbacks to go in the first round over 1.5 is minus 190. Ty Simpson draft position 24.5 over minus 230.
Minus 230.
A couple weeks ago, Orlovsky took us for a ride. With this, I reached out to a bunch of people and said Simpson's a better prospect than Mendoza. Will the guy even go in the first round? So,
what'd you make of that whole thing?
I thought it was just, it's a slow time. Let's get in the news cycle. Let's come up with something.
And oh, by the way, when he doesn't have to put a name on that,
it
could have been, who knows what kind of a person that was.
Yeah, I talked to my neighbor, 2 guys behind the glass.
Or it could have been like the 8th guy in charge with the football team.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Because for them, it turns into 2.5 days of content.
Sure.
And it just,
and the clicks and, oh, boy, this is really something else here.
You know, like whether it's Kuiper or, whoever, Field Yates, just say, hey, do something crazy in your mock draft, whatever.
Well,
or say you're hearing this and do some ridiculous trade, but you have a good source.
Remember, I think it was Kuiper's first mock that he put out, and this is a while back now. I probably want to say in February. He had Caleb Downs going 2nd overall.
Yeah, there it is.
And that was like 35th overall. We're like, hold on a second here. Nobody else has this anywhere close, has Downs anywhere in the neighborhood of going 2nd overall. He was 35, 40-1. Like, am I going to really bet that a couple of months out, or are they doing that just to get... And it was probably Kuiper just, well, let me do something a little bit different here than what everybody else is doing. And now you're saying that he's
9.5 over 330.
There you go. Yeah, that's all you need to know.
Yes. Yeah.
What would you look at with that quarterback prop? With that under being plus money, under 1.5?
Oh, I could see him going late first round or someone trading up to come in there in the first round and take him too. I could see that. But I would say over 24.5 looks to be the best bet.
Yeah, so
because it keeps moving.
The Jets then forget about it at number 16, I guess, huh?
Apparently, yes. I don't see him mocked anywhere either.
Neither do I.
Out of the respectable mocks in the last week, I haven't seen him go in the first round. That's the other thing. Well, you can urinate on Orlovsky's report too.
Yep. He also has Kenyon Sadiq, that tight end, the aforementioned tight end here, going to Baltimore, which would be a crazy good weapon in that offense.
Yeah, he's 18.5? 18.5 is over under.
Oh, how does he go? How does he slip that far?
Yeah. 15.5. 15.5 over minus 180.
Okay. I think people would freak out if the Chiefs take him at number 9 overall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, Kelsey's going to come back, but I mean, he wasn't that big of a weapon overall at Oregon, but the guy's an absolute monster on the field. If they took him at number 9, the immediate reaction would be, okay, now they got the Travis Kelce for Mahomes for the next 10 years. That would be the instant reaction. Now, would it play out like that? Who the hell knows? But I would actually rather see them take a shot on a tight end like that, super athletic, big dude, rather than try to take another receiver high which
Yeah.
it feels like they've done now like 10 years in a row.
Well, the other thing, too, is I know it's based on need and who's drafting where and all this, but just put on the tape and tell me Bain doesn't go top 5, top 6.
Yeah.
I mean, how that guy dominated last year.
No, the short arms, Paulie.
He's 8.5 over minus 150.
Mhm.
So that's just another one where I think he's going to be a great pro. And he would have to go top 7, top 6.
Rahm just had a long putt for a birdie, did not sink it, and now he'll have one that's close to get to par here on this hole. He is 4 over through 10. All that steam on Jon Rahm to close second on the board to win this event. And horrible start. It had to go the exact opposite way for me and many other people.
How about Gary Woodland?
I know. Great story here. And he just had another putt for birdie, but he missed it.
He's 3 under through 9 and right there with Scheffler. Good job. Boom Boom still 2 under.
Yeah.
Aaron Two Gloves has a birdie.
It would be.
Uh-oh.
This is Adam Scott.
That's going in the water. Yeah.
Hit the brakes, pal.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a long roll. And
he's
in the drink.
He's in the drink.
And he is disgusted.
Oh, no. That's unfortunate.
Man, he's grabbing his knees here for a good 20 seconds.
He's disgusted.
Oh, he really
was
is.
in the mix.
Yeah.
He's 1 under.
How about another guy, Jason Day?
I know. Humans 100 to 1, right? Humans had pizza money on him, 100 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
He's right there, too. Tied for 3rd. He finished 3 under.
I would like,
Good job.
Just for the narrative of this, if Justin Rose could get hot here on the back 9, again, he's 3 under through 10 now. He was the leader in the clubhouse last year after round 1, and that was 66 to 1. Today, he was around 30 to 1. But if he would do this again, I mean, back-to-back years.
Yes,
and
awesome.
that's another guy that I don't have Rose outright at all, but Humans was saying, took a flyer on him as well at the number with the course history here.
I'm a positive person, and know you tend to be negative. What I thought JVT had an interesting analogy though about if you put the Super Bowl on and you miss the first quarter or the first 7 minutes. I thought they did a better job this year with all the coverage on Amazon.
Okay,
I didn't think it was
Yeah.
I don't think there's no need to freak out anymore. I think they did a good job. I was watching it at 8 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, same here.
I think Amazon picking it up early was good. Now it's only Amen Corner and featured groups.
Right, yep, but
and then he
still,
did it at 10, but it's still, I know.
it was better than nothing.
I know. It was just bizarre that it didn't come on until 3 Eastern for all that time. And you're sitting there. There was a couple years where Tiger was done.
Yeah.
And you didn't even see the first round. You're like, what the hell's going on?
Did you notice the one feed today, they had no commentators on it? So it was just the natural sound at Augusta. And there wasn't a play-by-play guy. There was nothing.
Fox did that years ago on an NFL game.
I remember that.
No announcers.
Yeah. Big NHL card on tap
Huge.
tonight. We'll talk about it with Greg Wyshynski, ESPN. We'll discuss teams that recently fired head coaches. How long will this work for Vegas? And is there enough time for it to work with the Islanders?
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Huge card tonight in the National Hockey League. We'll talk about it now. We go out to the Progressive guest line as Greg Wyshynski joins the program, does a great job covering the sport, senior writer at ESPN.com. Greg, thanks for the time today. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. So let's start with this. The fired coaches here recently with not a lot of runway to go before the playoffs. It's working out swimmingly with the Golden Knights so far. They're 4-0 since they brought in Tortorella. How long do you think that this will continue here for Vegas?
I think it was a genius move because, first of all, if you've lost your competitive fire, there's nobody in the NHL that can get it back quicker than John Tortorella, and I think that's one reason why the Golden Knights are 4-0 under his tutelage. But more importantly, they've relocated their dominant defensive game. If you look inside the numbers in these games that Tortorella has coached, they have the best expected goals against per 60 in the league. They have the best scoring chance percentage in the league. They're playing great shutdown hockey under this guy. And when you think about potential playoff matchups like the Ducks, like the Mammoths, like the Oilers, these are all offensively oriented teams that they're going to have to get through in the Pacific. And I think doubling down on the defensive play as Tortorella does is the right way to go.
Do they win the Pacific?
It's a good question. I think they've got a shot. The thing that gives me pause about Edmonton, obviously, is that miraculously found a way to make their goaltending worse,
Yes.
which I didn't think was possible.
Uh-huh.
But I for me, Vegas is the favorite to get out of the Pacific, just because I think that not only is the goaltending worse on the Oilers, but I think that overall their team just isn't as deep and as previous incarnations that made the Cup final were.
What'd you think of bringing in DeBoer? And he goes tonight for the Islanders as they host Toronto.
It's funny. I was on the island earlier this week for his introduction, and I was talking to Matt Barzal, their star forward, and he's like, I was laughing when the Golden Knights hired Torts 8 games left in the season, and then we go and do this with 4 games left in the season. So it's like even crazier. Listen, I'm a huge Pete DeBoer fan. I think he gets tremendous results from his teams, especially in the regular season. But, also with Dallas going to the conference final 3 straight times, I don't know how much runway the Islanders have here to try to sneak in. They are chasing a number of teams and teams that are playing pretty decently in front of them. I think if I had to pick who I thought the second wild card would be, it'd probably be Ottawa at this point. But, a number of the Islanders I spoke to had the right mindset here, which is that it's not simply a hire for the next 4 games. It's a hire for the next, 3 years as well. And I think he's going to be a real good fit there in the long run.
Okay. Who's the MVP?
It's a great question. So we do an awards watch every month on ESPN. The next one is going to run on Monday, the final one. And I'm intrigued to see where the wind's blowing. It's kind of gone back and forth. I think McKinnon has steadily been one of the leader with a sense of, best player, best team. He's due for another MVP kind of deal. I'm intrigued to see if that's what kind of keeps in place. I had a lot of voters tell me if the Sharks made the playoffs, they'd flip their vote and give it to Celebrini. And I still think Celebrini's going to get some support, although maybe not enough of it. And then you come to Connor McDavid. And so what's happened late in this race that I find really interesting is the Draisaitl's been out. And, usually it's one of those deals where how can you give it to McDavid? He's got Draisaitl on his team. Well, without Draisaitl in the lineup, McDavid's been absolutely tearing up the league. And I think the fact that he's played so well without his co-star in the lineup might be a very late convincing argument for some people to cast their heart ballots for Connor McDavid.
For those who missed it, Connor had a hat trick last night, 5 points overall, as Edmonton went to San Jose and beat Macklin Celebrini and the Sharks by a score of 5-2. So obviously the Sharks now pretty much kissing their playoff chances goodbye. But are you saying that had they made the playoffs, Celebrini maybe would have won the award?
Easily. I think he would have won it in a rout. I mean, if you look at the point differential between him and the next highest scorer on the Sharks, you think about where they were and where they, where he took them this season. It's funny. I was listening to the Tkachuk brothers podcast earlier today. Uh-huh. Brady Tkachuk said he would have cast his ballot for Celebrini regardless if they make the playoffs or not. Now, he's not a writer, as far as I know, so he doesn't have a vote. But maybe that mindset is the prevailing one for a number of people, where the season that this kid had at his age is just so impressive, and he's been so important to his team that he still gets support. The one name we didn't talk about is Nikita Kucherov, and I think the issue with Nikita is that the Lightning look like they might not win their own division. And if you don't win your own division, I think that's going to be a little bit harmful to his candidacy. But his numbers are as good as anybody's in the league this year. This is a great story that they've ended the drought in Buffalo. Can the Sabres win a series or two? Oh, I think so. I think if they win their division and face either Boston or Ottawa in the first round, both tough outs, both teams that I think could give them a little bit trouble defensively. But overall, I think the ceiling is quite high for the Sabres in the Eastern Conference. If their goaltending remains as good as it's been, and it's been like the 4th best goaltending in the league so far this season, and as long as these guys don't all freak out because it's their first time in the playoffs, then I think they're quite good. They kind of remind me a little bit of that St. Louis team that won the Cup that year a couple of years ago, where they sort of found themselves within the regular season and then became such a wagon that they became unstoppable. Without Florida, in the playoffs as sort of your big dog on the block, I think the East is really up for grabs, and it wouldn't shock me to see them play at least in the Eastern Conference Final.
Well, okay. So with that being said, the Pittsburgh Penguins have been scoring goals for fun here for a long time, Greg. I don't think you can call them a sleeper. They have 96 points after all. They're 10 points behind Carolina, second place in their own division. What would your prospects be for a Pittsburgh run here in the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, they're a really intriguing team. I mean, the way it stacks up, it looks like they might have a little Battle of Pennsylvania action against the Flyers in the first round if Philly takes care of business. And, I think that's an interesting series, but ultimately one that the Penguins could advance from. And then you'd probably have the Carolina Hurricanes after that. And the Canes are an interesting team in the sense that top to bottom, they might be the best offensive version of this team that we've seen. They don't have that one superstar player that they've tried to acquire for the last 2 seasons, but they've got crazy great offensive depth. Problem being is that I'm not really enamored with their goaltending. Brandon Bussy's been a great story for them, but I don't know how long he can carry you. They still had Peter Kochetkov there. It's not great. The goaltending does not inspire too much confidence, and it could ultimately be their Achilles heel. And if that's the case, then the door might actually be open for Sidney Crosby and the Penguins to potentially play in the Eastern Conference Final.
There are 14 games tonight. Do you like anything have a play or games that have your attention?
Man, I've been so knee deep in all the preview stuff and such. I haven't really gotten a chance to break down any of these matchups per se. But as far as games, I know I'm going to be watching the Utah Nashville game is a really fascinating one because you have Nashville really desperately trying to get into that second wild card spot, and you have Utah with a chance to clinch the first playoff berth in franchise history tonight. So I know that the Mammoth are favored in that one. They're coming off a really emotional win over the Oilers. So if you're looking for a decent spot, I mean, that could be one with knowing what's on the line for them, being at home and playing some really good hockey since the Olympic break.
Here's one that was pointed out from our NHL sports betting insider here at VSiN, Greg, and that is look at the Calgary Flames tonight, basically saying that the Abs have nothing to play for. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, and betting against fading the Abs is not something I have much of an appetite for this season. But, if you're looking for good value, that's not necessarily the worst place to be. And Lord knows it would be tremendous value as I see that Colorado is minus, 340,
yes,
I think,
yeah.
on the money line tonight. So,
Yes.
Hey, listen, if there's one piece of betting advice I could give you, as we've seen this season, take the over. I mean, it's been kind of the NHL season in a nutshell,
Yeah.
I think, for the most part.
Yeah, you're not kidding. You can follow Greg on X. He is at Wyshynski, senior writer at ESPN.com. Read him there throughout the entire season as well. Greg, that was awesome. Thanks so much for the time. Enjoy the games tonight.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks for having me.
Thank
There
you.
go. Join
Well
us on
done.
the Progressive Guest Line.
Well, last time they played, it was 9-2. So you think, and then the Davis angle is every time Calgary scores 4 goals or more, they win. So he's also getting involved with props with Calgary
He is.
team totals as well. 14 games. There are so many games that stand out with first period overs and first 10 and then plus the Islander angle with DeBoer. I mean, you can get creative with first period stuff. You're catching Toronto on a back-to-back, and they figure they jump on them early. Utah's played 11 straight overs first period, 10-1 run.
Hold on to that.
Goal in
Hold
the
on.
first 10
hold
too,
on,
yeah.
hold on to all this
Yeah.
information. I know you're loaded here like a Gatling gun, and there's a lot to get into because I think you're right, Paul. Tonight feels like a really fun night to bet the NHL. And you look up at some of these scores right away. You get 3-2 with 4 minutes to go in the first. Like, what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so Win loses up next. Paulie's going to run it all down. Some unbelievable numbers in hockey. And he'll tell you about a 10-point move last night that was a winner next here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, so we were just talking about what the Knicks would want to do in terms of getting the 3 or the 4 seed. We have to talk about that with the Cavaliers as well. Winning the game last night, you thought they should have lost that one.
I thought they would.
Yeah.
Yes, because they play the Wizards Sunday.
That's right. And now they have the Hawks one more time before they play the Wizards. And right now, we go out to the progressive guest line as ESPN Cleveland legend Tony Rizzo joins the program now. What's up, T. Riz? How are you, my man?
Well, with that intro, I'm doing great, Mitchell. How are you?
You know what?
Paulie.
Hey, buddy.
That was a little weak sauce on my part. I'll make it a lot better next time when you come on. My apologies.
Oh, my God, stop. I'm no legend, bud. Believe me. I'm just old.
So, so how do you think this plays out with the Cavaliers maybe looking at the next game against the Hawks, specifically tomorrow night? And which team would they prefer in the second round if, this is easier said than done, but assuming they win the first round, would they rather play the Pistons or the Celtics in round 2?
Oh, come on. They'd rather play the Pistons all day. Cavs want the 4 seed, and sure enough, the Knicks didn't play well down the stretch, so they didn't help them. Last night, they wanted to let the Hawks know we can beat you when we want to. But I'm guys, that Atlanta team's dangerous. They have nothing to lose, nothing. They're playing with house money. They traded Young away, and they look great. And they're very, very well deformed lately. But Cavs want the 4 seed. Let's see what they do. Donovan Mitchell came out and said something to the effect of, "Hey, we don't want to. We want to win." At some point, if you're going where you want to go, you're going to have to beat the Celtics anyway. But ideally, you wouldn't want to play them in the second round.
Yeah. What if they go out early in the playoffs? They made the Harden trade.
There will be, guys. There's a lot of pressure on Coach Atkinson. Okay, he replaced a guy who couldn't get out of the second round with basically, well, not the same roster, but the same core. Okay, if he doesn't get out of the second round this year, the owner wants to win a championship. And I know people bring up LeBron next year and all that stuff, but Cavs are interested in winning championships. And you saw the move for Harden. I thought that was a gutsy move, man. And we'll see if it pays off. And we like James. He's lost a step, sure, but it's an interesting dynamic with him and Donovan Mitchell. But they want to win. So, this is a big, big playoffs for Kenny Atkinson and some players on that team, too.
So what you're thinking is tomorrow, maybe even like overnight, tomorrow morning, don't be surprised when you look at the official NBA injury report with the news and all of a sudden like 6-8 guys might have the flu here for the Cavaliers?
Well, the Cavs are dinged. Donovan is a little dinged. Jared Allen's hurt, and that's a really big concern. He is playing hurt, and he's not even close to 100%. The good news is, guys, Mobley is hot. 20 and 10 last 19 games. He's played very well. His overs have cashed, and they're deep. Schroeder, Strus, Ellis. There's some good players on that team. Listen, they're the second. Aren't they the second choice in the East?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they should be, but they've got to prove it. And there's a lot of pressure on this team. Don't forget, who else hadn't been out of the second round of the playoffs? Donovan Mitchell.
Great point.
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah. Great point.
Donovan Mitchell is one of the 10 best players in the NBA. It's about time he gets out of the second round, too. So there's a lot of pressure on this.
Oh, yeah. That was embarrassing last year. I mean, you got beaten 5 games by the Pacers and had home court and were big favorites. So what do you think of the LeBron rumors in the news? Do you think he could wind up there? And if you rank it, would he be right there with Golden State? How do you see it?
There's a lot that has to happen for that to happen. And I know the Cavaliers are focused on this year, and they're worried about this year. I heard they're lukewarm to it. I know this, guys. Donovan Mitchell wants to win a title without LeBron. Donovan Mitchell wants to be the next LeBron. I know Dan Gilbert. Dan would love to win a title without LeBron, too. Is it a must? If it works out where he comes back, sure, he could come back. And I'm sure that they'll be high in the odds for that at all the places. But there's a lot that has to happen. And we have to see how this year plays out before we can see anything.
Very good. Take us through what you're hearing with the draft. You're a connected guy. You know everyone in Cleveland.
Draft. Oh, my God. They're giving me odds to the Browns. Browns do a good job of hiding their hand every year. They couldn't do it this year because of what they did in free agency and their needs. They need a left tackle. So there's the dilemma. The best tackles in this draft are right tackles and tackles who are converting to guard. So they're in a tough spot. Number one, guys, the Browns want to trade down. Now they would die, kill. And by the way, if I'm Jerry, I'm going to make the call because I heard he wants defense. Who knows? If Arvell Reese drops to number 6, who knows? I'm sure Jerry would make the call. The Browns have Myles Garrett, and they're building for the future. And they want capital for next year, which everybody thinks is some messiah quarterback draft. So we'll see on that. But I'm hearing O-linemen. They'd love to trade down. If they trade down, they'll probably take Freeling because he's the guy that tested high. I'm hearing they don't like Tate at 6. And I keep seeing mocks that have him there, and maybe they're trying to okey doke everybody. But he's a guy that didn't test all that well, and they love guys that run fast. Run fast and test well. So I'm thinking O-lineman there. If I had to place a wager, it'd be O-line. And the trade down is certainly the number one thing.
It'd be O-line. Okay. Is there one specific player that you would favor over the others, or just O-line in general?
I don't know. He drafted Jed Wills over Tristan Wirfs 5 years ago.
Yeah,
what the hell?
I know. You know what's interesting about this is that so I've been looking around at a lot of these draft props because it's coming up now. By the way, it's 2 weeks from tonight, which I can't even believe it's coming right around the corner. Anyway, like the Cleveland Browns are maybe the only team that I cannot find for what they're going to do with their first pick in the draft. Like every other team is available. I can't find the Browns.
Yeah, because you know what? The GM admitted last week, right now, he didn't know who the pick was. That was last Tuesday, Wednesday. He admitted that they didn't really know what they wanted to do at that moment, that they were still going through a lot of stuff. They've got a lot of options. But there isn't a tackle worthy at 6, and unless you left Tate, there's really not a wide receiver worthy at 6. It's a tough spot for the Browns this year. Yeah, they stop me if you heard that again before. And by the way, we didn't even talk about the quarterback situation. Oh, my God.
What's the latest? What's the latest?
Oh, my God. I want everyone to realize this, okay? The Watson steam out there, all right? And I've heard people, okay, the guy had, this is 2 torn ACLs, a bad shoulder, a bad back, double Achilles tear. He's had bruised ribs. He's played 19 games in 5 years. If you're counting on that guy to win the job or even play well at the beginning of the year, come on. I mean, he hasn't played. If he comes out, it would be one of the greatest turnaround comebacks. So he'd win comeback player of the year for – I don't see it. Sanders won his last 2 games. He's been in the building a lot in the offseason. They're worried because it's a new offense, and Watson's been in the league a long time. Gabriel played for 3 different college programs. It might be a lot for Shedeur to learn, but I think the Watson will get the first crack. The guy wants a quarterback by the start of training camp, at least a depth chart. Now, it doesn't mean the guy's going to start game 1 in September.
Right.
But he did say he wants to have a depth chart, and we'll see how this thing plays out. I think everybody's in play. And who knows? They might draft some guy in the 5th round. I don't think they're in play for Tyson. I don't at all. If they did that, people's head would explode in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, they would.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Go ahead, Paul.
You know J.C. Trotter. Do you think we're going to 18 games?
I think he has to, Paul. And what the league does is they give him some ridiculous, you don't have to work out for 2 weeks in the off season or something. Like, what the trade-offs are insane. But the money's too much, and everybody loves it. I know, Paul, you're in favor of it, right? You're like,
yes.
Give me more. But, Mitch, I'm with you. I don't know. How much do you need? What are they doing for Thanksgiving and Christmas this year? I can't wait to see that, right?
11 games on each day, I think.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Guys, come on. I love the NFL. I love it. By the way, you guys were the best. I was on vacation. I know we're up against it. I was on vacation. I was down getting some sun. And during the tournament, when you guys were on during the tournament, some of the best radio I've heard in a long time. Great job.
Well, you're too kind. And you're also a total degen like us. So you're kicking back. You've been betting on Ohio high school football since like the 50s.
Well, I'm actually scouting, Mitch.
Okay.
Scouting quarterbacks
that's
now.
That's it. My bad. I stand corrected. In like 30 seconds here, you're watching the Masters today. Would you take a flyer on anybody right now close to the leaderboard at the top?
No, I like Shoffley coming in. We did have Patrick Reed. That was the guy we were on.
Damn right.
We heard he was in good form.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised Rory played well. I give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, same.
After winning last year, he could have took this tournament off. He didn't.
Yep.
Good points, buddy.
All right, pal. You're the best. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Tony Rizzo, ESPN Cleveland Progressive Guest Line.
All right. He's like you, but I can't get enough of it. And
no, all I'm saying is
18 and the Christmas
I
Thanksgiving Eve games.
Yeah, that's the game that's completely unnecessary, and I don't want, and I don't think anybody should want it. But the 18 games with 2 byes, as long as we have 2 byes, I'm in.
How are you excited? You're immediately tapped out of the season if Watson starts week 1.
Oh my God!
I mean, come on.
3 games tonight in Major League Baseball, loaded slate in the NHL. The biggest edge for a player prop, Opta AI, on the website, vsin.com, is a player most of you have never heard of.